audience and listen carefully. There's a story in this that you're going to want to hear. Thank you.
This is a story about the past 2.5 years. Pretty much my journey. My name is Grace, but a lot of people call me Cookie. It's been my nickname since before I was born. This is the first day, 5th grade. That's me. I was so excited about all the events coming up that year, especially the 5th grade picnic. Don't worry, I got better. But I wasn't feeling better. After a month of going back and forth to the pediatrician with back and leg pain through the help of some friends, a new pediatrician wanted me to go straight to the ER for stat blood work and x-rays. So off we headed into the elevator, and that's when I asked my mom, "Did I think I had cancer?" She said, "Why would you say that? Don't be silly." My blood work and x-rays came back fine, so I was admitted and sent for an MRI the next day. The MRI showed something in my bones, so we left the hospital at midnight and were at the Children's Hospital before dawn. And I took my balloons with me, and I got hooked up to this, and they told me I would have to go everywhere with me. So I decided to be my new best friend, Bob. Bob and I went down for some scans. And remember that day the pediatrician sent us to the ER, and on the way down in the elevator? Well, my fear was confirmed. I did have cancer. Stage 4, high risk neuroblastoma. Now, this is where my family and I made a decision, a very important decision. We're going to stay positive and keep moving forward, and that's what we set out to do. At the hospital on a Friday, I went home, cut my hair, dyed it a kickin' red, and we were back at the hospital on Monday. I had more scans, had surgery to put my line in so all my meds could go through it. Was reunited with Bob, and I decided he should have a face to go with his name. Round 1 of chemo. Had more visitors. Yay! And see that? That's a crash cart. We had a little crash cart party in my room one night, when my heart went from this to this, and then back to that. Me and Bob were in this together. Good job, Bob. I had even more visitors. So many this time that when we walked down in this hallway to the couch, kids started coming out of their rooms to walk with us because they thought it was a parade. We had Thanksgiving in the hospital, and the first Cookies Crumbler shirts were born. There's a lot of spare time in the hospital, and there's a lot of crafts and music. I finally got to go home, and I shaved my head. I decided when I would lose my hair, not the cancer. But my brother did let me shave his head first. Back to the hospital. Round 2 of chemo. I made art, made more crafts, made a hedgehog, made some music, made a nurse, made snow, and made snowflakes. I got to go home for Christmas, and the fire department came with every single one of their trucks, and my friends came to visit, and if you came to visit, you were going to dance. I like dancing because it's hard not to be happy when you're dancing. Back to the hospital for a stem cell harvest. Round 3 of chemo. More music. And hey, did you know you can make a radio out of a milk carton? Play it again, Mike. Round 4 of chemo. Am I the only one in these music classes? Arts and crafts at 3 o'clock. Got to go home for a bit and only ate artichokes for a week and a half. Back to the hospital for bone marrows. More arts, Nerf gun fun, and some delicious medicine for the scans. I was happy there was a snowstorm so my brother could come with us. I got to go home for Valentine's weekend, and we were back at the hospital again during another snowstorm for scans. But these scans were to get ready for my surgery. Surgery to remove the tumor. I was excited about having the tumor removed, but not so much about the medicine. I brought my rosary beads and asked my surgeon to hold on to them for me during the surgery. I also asked him to record my surgery, which he did. And you know, he was able to get the entire tumor out. After only a couple days, I was able to go home. Round 5 of chemo. Hey, anybody want to play the ukulele? There was more arts, more crafts, and I got to meet Robin Thicke. I just wanted to go home. All the treatment up to this point had been a part of my induction phase, and I was tired. But wait a minute, back it up. Do you know Robin Thicke smells amazing? Yay, my induction phase was complete. Had another surgery to switch on my line and to get ready for MIBG therapy. Then this happened. I named my French bulldog Topi after my first chemo drug, topotecan. MIBG therapy. I was excited about this. This was the part of the study I was on that they were most hopeful about. I wanted to get the cancer out of my bones, and I couldn't wait to get back home to Topi. Then I realized I couldn't leave the bed at all during this treatment. In addition to being in a room completely covered in plastic, I had to stay behind 3 lead walls and no one could come near me. That's because I was injected with radioactive tagged iodine. When I finally could leave, almost a week later, I was still being picked up by the Geiger counter, and no one could sit next to me at home for a week. I was back and forth to the hospital almost 3 times a week for transfusions. But I did get to go to the 5th grade social with my friends. Seriously, who puts a hairbrush in the oncology Take One toy box? It was 6 weeks later, and I came back for scans, and my scans came back stable. All right, no change. We'll take it. But that meant I was back for another round of MIBG therapy. I wasn't really looking forward to this, but I told myself you have no choice but to be strong, but you can choose to be happy and positive. And that's what I did. So I made more arts and crafts, but those are radioactive, so I couldn't take them home with me. I had another 6 weeks of back and forth in arts and crafts. And in that time, I graduated from the 5th grade, and I turned 11, and the whole 5th grade got to celebrate with me. I lost some of my hearing from chemo, but then I got it back with hearing aids. Before I knew it, my 6 weeks were up, and it was time for scans. I was sure there had to be improvement after 2 rounds of MIBG radiation. But guess what? There wasn't. My scans were exactly the same. And on top of that, my doctors told me they were no longer treating to cure me. This was the same time the amazing people at Make-A-Wish asked me if I decided what my wish was. I knew exactly what I would wish for, but I didn't know if it was possible.
Wait, stop the video. Why don't I just tell you about it instead of watching this long video? In an instant, life as I knew it changed. Instead of spending time with my family and friends and doing the things I love, I practically spent all my time in the hospital. I underwent lots of rounds of chemotherapy, multiple surgeries, a stem cell harvest, transfusions, and 2 rounds of MIBG, a liquid radiation therapy. I missed doing the things like competing on my swim team and soccer team, or even just being outside with my friends, or even going to school. I have a very strong faith, and my faith is what carried me through everything. But at times, it was so hard, and I was tired. After almost a year of treatment, my cancer had not spread, but it was not going away. The hospital where I started treatment at told me they were no longer treating to cure me. This was the same time the amazing people at Make-A-Wish asked me what my one true wish was. I knew exactly what I would wish for, but I didn't know if it was exactly possible. I really wanted to meet Pope Francis, and guess what? My wish was granted. I traveled to Rome with my parents and brother in December of 2014. It was an amazing trip, and I got to meet Pope Francis on his birthday and personally give him a birthday card. And Pope Francis and that trip gave me hope. I just had this peaceful feeling, and it felt like I was recharged and ready to go back and fight again. And I did, with new doctors and new treatments. And today I am cancer-free.